straightness was basically created to make women prisoners to men.
Welcome back to your favorite non-leftist lesbians YouTube channel, because that's me. And today I'm here with my good friend, Tara Babcock.
That's me.
You have the best name, by the way. You were at like the very beginning of my coming out as a non-leftist. Now we're going through this thing about being a non-feminist because these blue-haired liberals make us look bad.
Very bad.
So now it's like, I'm not gonna identify that way anymore. I got like 6 videos to show you, and we're gonna react to them. They're super liberal and super ridiculous.
A few months ago, Modern Warrior made a video talking about how he was going to try and fight systemic racism by not getting out of the way of white people on the sidewalk. Good for him.
She wants to fight systemic racism by not getting out of the way of men or white men on sidewalks.
White men, not
White
just men, white men.
Okay.
The same thing applies to women. So how are you fighting the patriarchy, misogynistic society that we live in, and how are you practicing intersectional feminism? Taking Lance's idea, I decided to try that because I have
intersectional.
noticed that I will get out of the way of men as they are walking towards me on the sidewalk to
How?
let them go around. So I was in Seattle. 2 white men, boys, they were like in their 20s, were coming towards us. It was quite clear that they were just gonna run right into us until my daughter and I literally had to get in the road to get out of their way. Of the patriarchy.
The thing I hate about this kind of shit is like, her anecdote might be true, but like the lens through which she sees that experience is so up. I'm sure there are many times where a man has been walking in, 2 girls are like chatting and don't realize that he's there and run into him.
Right. But
they're not gonna see that through the lens of like, oh my god, patriarchy or
Exactly,
matriarchy or whatever it would be.
exactly.
Like, it's just her whole tunnel vision about like,
This is how these people are.
she's looking for it. And then
This
she
is how
tries to
people
fit
are.
everything into her little bias circle.
How about we both be nice people and just move out of each other's way?
A woman was recently groped in Horizon Worlds, Facebook, aka Meta's virtual reality social media platform. The platform is actually still just in beta phase, and already sexual assault is occurring. Meta referred to the incident as absolutely unfortunate and said that the victim should have used Safe Zone, a tool that puts a protective bubble around you if you feel threatened. I have a bit of an issue with this because it puts responsibility on the person being attacked to find their way out of it. And sexual assault in virtual reality is nothing new. It's been happening for years.
This is the same as like regular sexual assault though. It's like, there's nothing wrong with telling someone how to protect themselves. In almost every situation, you can't control the behavior of the person who's aggressing because that person is f***ed up in some other way, like in the head or like upbringing or something. You can't change that. There's no way that like these guys who like grope people or rape people or whatever, that they just were never told not to rape, you know? They're victim preparing.
Victim preparing.
Yeah.
I like that.
The person doesn't want to be aggressed upon can make certain, you know, small changes to make it less likely.
One of the players took off her helmet, started rubbing her chest, and it just got worse from there. The whole point of virtual reality is to be in a space that is virtually indistinguishable from physical reality, which means these traumas are still incredibly violating.
Okay, but that's like a personal responsibility thing. Like, if you know that you're susceptible to reigniting this trauma, you just don't go to places like that.
If somebody was able to grope me in virtual reality, I would be okay with it as long I was also able to like beat the shit out of them in virtual reality. You know, like fair is fair. Like, I feel like that's the only way I'd be okay with it.
I personally don't think it's a big deal. I think like if you even equate that remotely to like real groping or anything, you're crazy in my opinion. Maybe there should be places where you consent to anything, and then if you enter that, you're consenting to being groped or whatever, you know?
Is that a thing?
I think that would be smart. Have like different servers.
Interesting. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that'd
so
be
like
a good way.
like a not safe for work server.
I think you solved it.
I solved it.
You really did,
We
because
did.
I didn't know how to answer this.
Yeah.
We need to figure out where we draw the line in our increasingly digital world. And it's also important to recognize that real world problems don't disappear just because you put a virtual reality helmet on.
Imagine a world where we literally are feeling physical everything. Then at that point, maybe, as much as virtual reality, it's not anywhere near reality yet. As triggering as it can be, that's still personal responsibility in my opinion.
Concept of straightness was basically created to make women prisoners to men. Because as we see on this app over and over, men don't actually like women. They want to have sex with female anatomy, they don't like women. People are afraid of queerness becoming more and more accepted because women are more and more leaning into that queerness. And so are some men, which is awesome. It means is that more and more women are going to start to pair up with other women and leaving these awful human beings who are unevolved, emotionally unintelligent.
Oh my god, this guy hates men.
He hates men, and
he hates straight men.
straight men. There are a lot more straight women that would have been straight years ago that are now like more bisexual or pansexual or queer, whatever you want to call it. Like, just because women are more queer these days and it's more accepted doesn't mean that they're not gonna want to date men in general. That's not what's happening. If men are being abusive, it shouldn't matter if women have the option to date other women. They should just stop dating abusive men.
I'm not saying that men and women can't be actually attracted to each other, but remember, it's all a construction at this point. And as you undo it, you see that one group of people is definitely benefiting more than the other, and that's not the way it's been in history so far.
So first of all, I know plenty of straight men that love women, that like women, that love women, that are just not trying to, as he said, female anatomy. That's first of all. I'm also gonna call gay men out here. I'm gonna call this guy out because I know more gay men, believe it or not, that will touch women inappropriately than straight men would. I've been touched more inappropriately by gay men than straight men.
It is true.
Because
they
they'll
kind of
touch you
feel like they're
and
like
then-
a girlfriend or
Yes.
something, so they're like, oh
Yes.
yeah, I can just do whatever.
Oh,
you
okay,
know?
I'm gay, it's okay. It's like, no, it's not okay. I understand that it doesn't turn you on, but it doesn't turn me on, so I don't want it either. With the whole abuse thing that he's mentioning, women that date other women are more likely to be emotionally and verbally abused, by the way. And this is like a statistic, than women that date men.
Really?
Emotional and verbal abuse, yes. Physical abuse, I think it actually still happens more with women, believe it or not, that date women. Also because people don't take it as seriously. Oh, it's like another girl that hit you. Or when two gay guys, oh, it's another guy that hit you. Also, like, calling straightness a social construct.
It's the oldest construct.
It's the oldest construct. Yeah, it's like literally
of any kind.
It's a biological reality. It's not a social construct, being straight. I'm also not a fan of, and I never have been a fan of, all these woke people hating cis straight white men. Like, personally, I don't know about you, I have never been hurt by a cis straight white man. They've been nothing but good to me, which is how I knew I was a lesbian, by the way. I dated the nicest straight white guys, and I still didn't like them.
You got, like, you cherry picked the best men, and you're
And
still like, I still
can't do it.
I can't do it.
That's how I knew.
Did you not want to say anything else because the boys were in here?
She goes straight to that.
I think
She's clearly talking to the ghosts.
I get that a lot.
This is what leftism does to you.
What is she?
Look at the haircut. What is that?
God.
My question for this, do you know how Demi Lovato came out as like non-binary now?
Yeah.
So supposedly, my question for Demi is this: why does this ghost feel like they can be close to you if you're not also a woman?
It's because all we care about is that it's not a man.
Right.
Explicitly.
That's it. Right. She just has to. They have to be not a man. Right. That's all that it
You
is.
can be 30% man
All right.
on any given day,
Okay.
but
if you were full man, then, then this ghost would know.
gotta leave the room.
Okay.
Can I
She has
say
trauma.
anything?
She does?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you
And that's
know?
why she doesn't like men.
Okay. I respect that. I respect
Yeah.
that.
What
I
do you think?
respect that. What else do you say? This poor guy, I respect that.
What are you gonna say?
I respect it.
Totally. We're gonna stay over here and let you have a conversation with Demi.
I have trauma too.
Clearly.
So I feel you. And I get it.
No, literally, she does. I mean, she's
Yeah,
a drug
I mean,
addict and like.
Yeah, but
If I sing you a song, can my friends come back in the room?
There you go. There you go.
isn't that supposed to just mean that the presence is felt?
Right,
Not like,
right. Like it could be like no.
Oh, no, I'm so angry. I'm making a lot of noise. Like, what? This is the fakest I've ever seen in my entire life.
I will be rising from the...
Cut for my convenience. Thank you so much. Thank you. Dude, she had to have been like contracted. Like, hey, you want to come in and do some cringy SJW?
You think so?
Like, it'll be for the views. Yeah.
But she is singing to trauma victims that've had trauma with men in the past. Like, girl, if you're that traumatized, like that you have it, that you bring that into the next life, I don't think Demi Lovato is gonna help you.
No,
You
she
know what I'm
can't-
saying? Like,
she-
you guys
they
need
haven't
to work
crossed
that
over yet. They're not in the next life.
Like,
They can't
clearly,
get there.
yeah, they're in like
stuck.
that's true. Yeah, they haven't figured it out. I mean, Demi came and saved everybody.
So the Los Angeles Times reported that traditional masculinity is officially labeled harmful by the American Psychological Association. And this is absolute crap. What happened to real men? What happened to men who were the heads of the household back in the 50s and the 60s? Us women are sick of it. We're tired of seeing these beta males walking around acting so sensitive.
Yes.
Yes. This is you, right?
Yes.
You talk about this
all
all
the
time.
fucking time. It's
All the
aggravating.
time.
Like, I don't understand why people can't have their nature and then women can't like that nature. It's not like a must. It's what people want. People who don't want that will go find the men who aren't
Who
like
aren't
that.
like that. I feel like this a big statement with this is there's a big difference between toxic masculinity and traditional masculinity. Leftists are conflating the two. They're saying that anything traditionally masculine is toxic.
Yeah,
and
they just find
true at
anything
all.
that's masculine and they don't even see the like positive side of it. Like, okay, men can be like more
protective
with their strength and their bigness.
I have a bunch of things written down because you like traditionally masculine.
Yeah.
I don't date men. This is toxic masculinity, okay? Not taking care of your kids, treating women poorly, being abusive, physical, mental abusive, whatever, verbal abusive, gaslighting, cheating.
Yeah.
Like that's all actual toxic masculinity traits.
Yeah.
Which could honestly just be the same for women.
Yeah, it's literally, it's like toxic traits, but with like a tint of masculinity because that's kind of how you form your personality when you have that much testosterone. It has nothing else to do with anything. Like there's the toxic feminine traits are all just like slightly more feminine, but it's interchangeable. It's like person to person, personality based, and like to just see like, oh, that guy's big and strong or something. Oh, toxic masculinity or whatever. It's like, it's wild.
Yeah. Here's what good traditional masculinity looks like. This was something my friends used to do all the time when I was growing up. When they would drive me home, they would make sure they'd wait in their car and make sure I actually got in my house. That's a traditional masculine thing. I mean, I do it because I'm just a good person, but I feel like women wouldn't do that with like their male friends, whereas a guy would do that for us.
Yeah, because guys can, if something's happening on the way to the house, can actually intervene and help. And like that's part of what they can do to help men and women. Like
being strong, being protective, being stable. I feel like physically, mentally, emotionally stable is a traditional masculine thing. Not that women can't be those things, but we generally are more emotional people than men.
Yeah, what I like a lot is the balance that I got between my mom and my dad. Like my dad more stoic and like put together and non-emotional, and then my mom was extremely emotional. And like to be able to see those two sides and like have it balance out and feel those two different types of love, and then see those people interact. That's how you kind of form the basis of like what male and female energy kind of is.
Traditional masculinity needs to come back. It is not harmful. Real women like real men. Our generation is pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Obviously, not everyone likes, traditionally male people. I think when you do, it's completely fine, and I think it's like also backed up by thousands of years of like
chemicals and
biology. That's just how it kind of is.
You and I are traditional feminists. Yeah. Which is just men and women should be treated as equals, right?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean we're the same.
When I was a teenager, I was like Lisa Frank, girl power, like hell yeah, I can do anything guys can do, and like I wanted to strive to that.
A lot of the things we can.
Yeah, and it's fun to strive to that and also see the differences, and like even as a person, not as a woman, you have limits. And the limits are different person to person. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And like to literally just try to diminish femininity altogether or to diminish masculinity altogether is just like makes no sense.
It's a cop out. The difference between the old LGBT, where we just wanted to exist and be treated equally.
Yeah, you just wanted like rights and shit. That makes perfect fucking sense.
And the new LGBT, where they want to change the entire outlook of the way everybody sees them.
Yeah, it's like the equity versus equality thing. Yeah. It's like
new age feminists and old age feminists like us, we are not the same.
Yeah, and to answer your question, like what I've learned, people do not have any capacity to see nuance at all. They just like literally want to be mad about stuff. That's what I see it as. People just want to be mad about things that don't affect them and try to control other people so that they can live in their comfortable little delusional worlds, which is...
We're going to leave it at that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to go and check out Tara, I'm going to have her link in the description below because we also filmed a video on her channel about things that we actually need feminism for these days. Like trans women in female sports and such. And
you did it the second time.
I know. Trans women in men's sports would make sense. Sometimes. But go and check it out. And other than that, make sure you go and subscribe if you're coming over from her channel. And I'll see you guys back here in a few days with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Love yourselves. Bye.